only art form we have in the United States. Jazz.
Hello vinyl community, thank you for joining me for another recent vinyl spins. So like previous weeks, I'm going to feature 5 records that I've been spinning recently and just talk about them for a little bit. As you can see from the intro, the first one that I do want to kick off is a jazz album, and it's going to be the only jazz album this week. And the album in question is Royal Flush by Byrd, which is a classic in my opinion. It's hard bop for sure, and it's a little more bluesy, so if you like your jazz bluesy, then definitely go for this one. This album features Pepper Adams, which is a longtime collaborator with Byrd. Also features Herbie Hancock, Butch Warren, and Billy Higgins. So Butch Warren, he was at the beginning in my intro, and I just watched the documentary Oxygen for the Years, and I highly recommend it because it goes over the DC scene and the history of jazz in DC, or Washington DC. And Billy Higgins had a very challenged life. He passed away a couple of years ago. Fortunately, he lived long enough to do this documentary. Butch Warren, he was in and out of psych wards up until about 2005-2006, when a Washington Post writer discovered him and managed to get him out of the psych ward. But none of the staff at the time knew who he was. He kept requesting to play the piano. And, you know, someone did a little more research online with him and found out that, yeah, he was a long-time Blue Note session man. The documentary hits upon this a little bit, which I did enjoy. You can tell that, you know, he's not looking in the best of shape. Died of lung cancer, and was a big friend of Sonny Clark, who, you know, wrote a lot of infamous Blue Note albums until he died of a heroin overdose in '63. And '63 was really the turning point for Butch Warren, and that's when he really checked himself into a mental institution, and he just went in and out of those for the rest of his life. But he was a long-time sideman on a lot of the Blue Note. This is the Music Matters issue on 45 RPM. You can still get this one, and of course he isn't featured here, but you can see some from some of the other photos that I showed of him, and you know, he just was impressive because he played with Thelonious Monk, and you know, just to show him here, I mean, you can see just, you know, how good of a bass player he was. But anyway, this is the only jazz album I really been spinning this week. After watching that documentary, I just had to say a few words about Butch Warren. Now, the next one is a very infamous album. It came out before the turn of the century. I want to say it came out in, '97. So this is the Buena Vista Social Club. This is a reissue on World Circuit, and it was introduced to the world on World Circuit back in '97. In the United States, it came out on Nonsuch, and it was Ry Cooder who was responsible for bringing these guys into the mainstream, and it really excited the world about Cuban music, and this is just fantastic. If you have not heard it, I highly recommend it. A lot of the stuff now should be instantly recognizable, but it had a number of musicians that played at the original Buena Vista Social Club, which dates back to the 40s. And this album, you know, Ry Cooder and his son did play on it. He managed to get those guys out of Cuba and playing in Europe. There was a documentary that was done by Wenders, famous German documentary maker, and I recommend checking out that film as well. Got him into New York. Cooder himself, I think he was penalized for going to Cuba and working with these guys. I think he got like a $25,000 fine or something like that. But this sounds really, really good, and you know, it was mastered by the same guy that did the original and the classic records release, which was Bernie Grundman. So as far as I'm aware, Bernie Grundman is the only person to have ever mastered this record. So you know, I have the CD, I've had it digitally, don't have an original LP, I don't have the classic records version, so I don't know how they compare, but this is just, if you're an audiophile, you can't beat this. And it does come with a nice 40-page booklet with translation of the lyrics, photos of the band. So, and I think you can find it relatively cheaply too. So, you know, if you're a little bit reserved, you know, try and sample it online. But this is, you know, this really got people on a Latin kick, and I'd like to recommend Ibrahim Ferrer's solo album. 3 or 4 of the musicians that played on this came out with solo albums on World Circuit, and Ibrahim Ferrer's is one of my favorites. So, again, Buena Vista Social Club, highly recommend it. Next, I gotta thank John K. Techhead for this, because I didn't even know that they released these on vinyl. This is Hotel Costas, Volume 2, and this was my introduction to people like Mr. Scruff, who is featured on the cover of Dust and Grooves, and also Buzu Bayou, Defaz, Doris Days, Pink Martini, and Wagram, the parent label, has issued the first 3 of these, which had never seen a vinyl release before. And they do come on some really, really nice printed inner sleeves. They claim it's 180, I think, but I don't think it's 180 gram vinyl, to be quite honest. And I suspect that these were pressed at GZ Vinyl in the Czech Republic, because that's where the 4 through 8 were pressed. And GZ Vinyl has a tradition of just using numbers. Sometimes they'll print gzvinyl.com, but this, it's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily great either. But Hotel Costas, very chic hotel in the middle of France, has live DJs that would play there. I've personally never been there, but you know, you can tell from the interior that it'd be quite the place to check out. So the next couple ones are of the electronic. This one I've been searching for the longest time. I got a good deal on it, and this is Lulu Rouge, a Danish duo, DJ Tom and DJ Buddha. One of them had worked quite a bit with Trent Muller, and this is just fantastic. So if you're into trip hop, acid jazz, something a little bit melancholy, this is definitely worth checking out. Hard to find. I hate to say it. Sometimes I hate showing hard to find records. I'd rather show stuff that's a little more accessible, but at least you can pick it up electronically. Very plain labels. And you know, these guys are just fantastic. So again, if you like Massive Attack, definitely check out Lulu Rouge. And the last one, now, as far as I'm aware, this is probably huge in Europe, but no one here in the States knows this at all. And this is the Avener. And maybe you guys in Europe can comment, because I heard this album went to #1 in the charts, and I can see why. It's just fantastic. This is really for the most part, it's a remix album. He's a DJ, a French DJ. Tristan Cesara, I think is his name. And if you're into remixes, at least good remixes of some classical work, like here he's done a remix of Mazzy Star, Fade Into You. He does a remix of a John Lee Hooker tune, so really quite the mix. And then he has some originals. He does some work with Annie Brun, which is a Norwegian folk artist. And you know, the track to hear is Fade Out Lines with Phoebe Killdeer. Sorry, had to look at it. So you know, Phoebe Killdeer and her backing band had this song that was really kind of obscure but just great. And comes with a download code and printed inners. So really nicely done. And have no clue where it was pressed. And it's not like super dancey type electronic work, remix work that you find with a lot of musicians. It's very respectful for the original tunes, where he uses the original tune as a basis for the song, at least my thinking. And you know, it's coming out on Capitol, so you know, he's got the backing of the major. So if you got a backing of the major, it means you're impressing somebody. But for the guys in the States, definitely check this out. And the guys in Europe, is this being overblown there? Again, I have no insight, so at least those are the 5 records that I've been spinning this week. And if you got a comment, please leave one. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and thanks to all my new subscribers. I do appreciate you guys subscribing and watching. So